Welcome to another episode of Aslan Speaks. And this channel is about growth, help you share wisdom and knowledge to help you become the best version of yourself. And let's begin. Unlocking your truest potential, breaking free from the Matrix. If any of you haven't seen the movie The Matrix, there's a lot of hidden truth in that movie and in the series itself. So I recommend checking that out. All right. So welcome to another episode of Aslan Speaks. I'm your host. My social media and my public name is Aslan Speaks, but my name is Eric Johnson. I'm an author of 4 books. I'm a podcaster, TikToker, YouTuber. Obviously you're on my channel right now, and Instagram. And if you want to find me on TikTok or Instagram, I'm under Aslan Speaks. Hit a smash like and subscribe if you find this helpful. Today we're going to dive deep, perhaps deeper than ever before. Have you ever found yourself wondering what life could be like if you truly broke free from the limitations holding you back? What if I told you that your mind, yes, this thing right here, your mind is more powerful than you've ever imagined, and that you could hold the keys to unlock your truest, most extraordinary self? In this journey, guys, that's one of the things I had to learn when I was seeking the path of enlightenment, was to learn to master or to work with controlling my emotional state and my thoughts. And when you're able to do that, things drastically change. We're exploring the concept through the lenses of a cultural phenomenon, the movie, The Matrix. Sorry, I see the glare on my glasses. We'll compare Neo's journey, his transformation from ordinary to extraordinary, to our own lives, and uncover actionable steps to help you break free from societal norms or societal programming. You should take a moment and Google social engineering, or even learn propaganda, and when you begin to awaken and break free from the matrix or reach your truest potential, you'll start to see and learn that there's social engineering and propaganda in everything. Powers to be don't want you to grow. They want you to be mindless robots, just following the crowd, following their agendas that they put on the media. But when you start to learn to master your mind and your thoughts and self-mastery, you learn that you take power back. So you break free from societal programming, distractions, and self-doubt. We'll discover how our minds can be reprogrammed, learn from extraordinary individuals, and explore how spiritual awakening can ignite your inner spark. So plug in, or maybe, yes, or maybe unplug. Now let's get started. The Matrix as the metaphor. First, let's talk about The Matrix. If you haven't seen it, the story centers around a character named Neo, a computer hacker who begins to suspect that the world he lives in is an illusion, a computer simulation designed to keep humans controlled. He's offered a choice: the blue pill, to remain comfortable in ignorance, or the red pill, to wake up and see reality for what it truly is. And this is my goal of this podcast, is give you the option. Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? You want to stay comfortably ignorant, to not know truly know what's going on in this world, and that's the problem with the society today, in my opinion, because so many people don't educate themselves. They just read the narrative or that 10-second dopamine hit on their social media and believe the narrative. And they don't actually take time to investigate deeply and understand the truth. Knowledge is power, my friends. For our purposes, the Matrix isn't, this is for purposes only. The Matrix isn't just science fiction, it's a metaphor how we live our lives. Many of us go through the motions, accepting what society, our families, and the media tells us about who we are and what we can achieve. But like Neo, we have a choice. Yes, you guys all have choices. We can break free from the programming that holds us back and unlock our truest potential. My friends, ask yourself, have you reached your truest potential? Ask yourself, what's holding you back? What behaviors, habits, people, places, or environments that are keeping you from your truest potential? What choices have you made in your life that limited your potential? And what can you do to change that or fix that? Neo's journey, ordinary to extraordinary. And that's my goal for you guys. Go from being ordinary to extraordinary. Neo starts off as a regular guy trapped into a routine, and many of us found ourselves that. We wake up, we hit that alarm clock, we drink our coffee, we hop in the car, we go to our job. We work 8 hours, we come home, maybe we have an hour of decompression time, watch TV or clean the house, whatever it may be, tuck the kids into bed, have dinner, whatever, and then you go on the same routine. And that routine is a prison. And I want you guys to break free from that. I don't think as a human race we were meant to spend our lives chasing money, because that's what it is. We've taught that money is everything, materialism is everything, and the powers to be created this reality. Only way to survive is you have to make money. And the fun fact is, nowadays, especially in 2026, you repeat the cycle, the hamster wheel. You make just enough money to survive. You're making just enough money to feed yourself, keep your lights on, and a roof over your head. I don't think that was how it's supposed to be. That's not natural. It's pretty crazy that every other living creature or thing, animal on this planet, they don't pay a rent bill. They don't pay taxes. Food for thought. So we're trapped in a routine, doubting. So Neo was trapped in a routine, doubting himself, never thinking he could be the one. His transformation begins when he starts questioning his reality, pushing past his fears. Even when the odds are against him, Neo chooses to believe in something greater within himself. I encourage you guys, it's time to believe that there's something greater in yourself. His journey mirrors what many of us experience. We wrestle with self doubt, with voices both internal and external, telling us we're not enough. But Neo discovers that reality is malleable. Let me rephrase that. Reality, the world you live in, is malleable, and you can shape it the way you want to if you learn the rules of the game. By challenging the limits imposed on him, he unlocked abilities that seem impossible. Societal programming. Let's fast forward from Neo's world to our own. The Matrix today isn't made of a computer code. It's built from societal norms, expectations, and distractions. From the moments we're born, we're shaped by our parents, beliefs, our cultural to traditions, and the endless stream of messages from media and technology. Think about it. How often do you find yourself scrolling through your phone? Swipe, swipe, swipe. I have friends who spend 5, 6 hours a day on their phone, and you wonder why why we have issues with our youth nowadays because they're being raised by their tablets and their Xboxes and their cell phones. Um, and all the people out there who, and I'm guilty of this. I've caught myself scrolling, but what I do is, hey, I noticed. I'm like, I've been on this for 20 minutes. I've been on. Okay, stop. Put that phone down. Some people spend 3, 4 hours a day just. What could you achieve if you stop spending hour after hour on the phone or on your computer or on that Netflix, even on YouTube, and you went and you took the same time and energy and put it into growing yourself or building or fulfilling one of your dreams? So, how often do you find yourself scrolling on your phone? Bombarded by images of success, beauty, or happiness that seem unattainable. How many of you, how many of your decisions are influenced by what you think you should do rather than what you truly desire? This is the modern day matrix, an invisible web of programming that keeps us from realizing our highest potential. You might hear this in other of my videos. Um, that your mind is a computer and you got to learn to reprogram it. Uh, Reprogramming your thoughts and your beliefs. Here's here's where things get exciting. Just as Neo learns to manipulate the matrix, we can learn to reprogram our minds. Our brains function with much like a computer. They run on software made up of thoughts, beliefs, and habits. The good news is software can be updated. Yes, talking to you guys. Start by identifying the beliefs holding you back. Do you believe you're not smart enough, not worthy, or not capable of change? Challenge these beliefs. Replace them with thoughts that empower you. I am capable. I am worthy. Change is possible. Practice positive affirmations. Visualize the life you want. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Remember, the programs you run daily will shape your reality. Choose wisely. I'm going to take a pause there and talk about programming. A lot of us, we don't know because we're on autopilot and we, through our education system, at least in America, I think is flawed. And they don't teach us how to critically think for ourselves or to take time and analyze our emotions or why am I thinking that thought or behavior. They basically teach you what they want you to be and how you should think and how you should act and how you should behave. And now we're all about materialism, and it's just we live in a sad world, my friends, in my opinion, or an unhealthy one. That somewhere along the line we've lost the humanity or the human part of it. It's more programmed and robotic now, and you see this with people's behaviors all over the. They did you know that 80% of people react out of emotion than logic? And that's one of the flaws today is because they've learned the programmers, the people who study this, they learned if we provoke an emotional response in a person, we're more likely to get them to do what we want. And maybe um, it's called problem reaction solution. And you see this narrative where there's a giant, and you see it on the news. It's called bogus banners or false something else. And you see this where powers to be cause a problem, then there's causes a reaction, and then instantly in the back, oh, we have the solution, and then they hurdle people the way they want. Social conditioning, parents, media, and culture. Let's dig deeper into where our programming comes from. And don't get beat up or down on your parents, because this programming has been going on for almost 100 years. Forgive them for they know not what they do. It's the lack of education. It's the lack of knowledge because, and you see this because your parents learned it from their parents, and their parents learned it from their parents. So your great grandparents taught your grandparents, then your grandparents taught you, and then and they were also being shaped by the media, the news, and the social cultures, and so programming comes from your parents, teachers, and peers, often with the best intentions. Imprint their beliefs on us from it. They've imprint their beliefs on us since a young age. Don't dream too big. Follow the rules. Just that's just the way things are. Like my grandfather always harped on me about you. That's what he did. He since he was 18 out of high school, he got a trades job as a electrician, and his whole life that's all he did. You gotta get a 9 to 5, and that's how you live your life. And you work majority of your life away, and then you rest on Saturday, or you get 2 days off, and basically you work so much that you're tired on one of the days, so you use one of the days to rest, and then you have one fun day out of the year, and then you keep paying all those bills. Not, in my personal opinion, it's not a way to live life. Yes, I've done the 9 to 5. It's not, and if you find a good job, that's okay. But majority of the people are miserable in their jobs because all the because it's also the corporate greed. My dad, out of high school, got a job making. He started at $18 an hour, and within a couple of years, he was making $30 an hour. And out of a regular car factory. And now, the minimum, like in Wisconsin, the minimum wage is still like $7.50. Like, and then the average pay in Wisconsin for somebody who doesn't have a bachelor's degree or a fancy title, it's 16 to 17 bucks an hour. But and you would think that's a lot, but then they raise the taxes and the food prices and the gas prices and the rental prices. So basically, you're equivalent of making $8 an hour. And so my dad, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, was making $30 an hour, but now, guys, the system's rigged. Corporate greed. When the top 1% of all the company people are making millions of dollars or hundreds of $1,000s a year, and you're making 20. All right. Media tells us what to value, what to fear, and who we should aspire to be. Culture sets the boundaries for what's considered normal. All these influences can limit your view of yourself and your potential. The first step to breaking free is awareness. And what is awareness? It's expanding your consciousness, expanding your perspective. Some people never change, and why they don't change is because they don't want to change their perspective. They don't want to change the inner narrative and within them. Notice whose voice echoes in your mind. Are these beliefs truly yours? Or were they handed to you? Have you the power to choose which thoughts you keep and which ones you let go? And I mentioned this in my other videos. If you would have met me 10, 15 years ago, yes, I was still spiritual, I was still a Christian, but I was a very different person. I wasn't as humble as I am today. I liked fighting back then. I grew up in inner city in Milwaukee, and listening to gangster rap, and that influenced me to be a tough guy, or a gangster, whatever you want to say. And that was my persona back then. That was what I identified, and I didn't realize I was socially engineered through the people and the environments and the places, and I thought all that behavior was cool. I didn't realize all the harm it was doing to me, and or the harm I was causing others from that type of behavior. And so I had to learn through awakening to go through this growth process that I was being in my lower nature, and I had to or lower self, and I had to learn to become my higher self, to walk a godly path, or to walk in righteousness. Righteousness, my friends. Right thoughts, right feelings, and right actions. To follow that moral compass. So, first step to breaking free is awareness. Stop listening to all those whispers. This is how you should be, or this is how all these idols you see, these celebrity worships. Uh, you, oh, this celebrity got this newest outfit, or launched this newest handbag that's $1,000. Oh, I must get that $1,000 bag to be just like them. Learn to walk your own path. So here's how to unlock your potential. Steps to break free from the matrix. Now let's get practical. Here are actionable steps to help you break free from societal programming and unlocking your potential. Question your reality. Like me, when I watch movies and or listen to podcasts, or first thing I do, I go, what's their agenda? Are they truly trying to inspire me, or are they trying to steer me into a narrative? Are they coming off authentically and lovingly and are just trying to be helpful? Or is there some sinister, and you see this in movies, sadly, and TV shows, there's a lot of, when you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you start to see that they have a hidden agenda, and it's very dark. So question your reality. Like Neo, start asking tough questions. What beliefs and what habits are running your life on autopilot? So what are your beliefs? What habits are running your life on autopilot? Number two, identify limiting beliefs. Write them down. Where do they come from? Are they serving you? Reprogramming your mind. Use affirmations, visualizations, and positive self-talk to overwrite old limiting thoughts. Seek new experiences. Step outside your comfort zone. Try things that challenge your current worldview. Connect with like-minded individuals. Find a community that supports your growth and change. Practice mindfulness. That's what I do every day, guys. When I wake up, I spend an hour, and that's inner reflection and mindfulness. And I check in with myself daily, and I try my best to meditate every day. Meditation and self-reflections help you become aware of your programming, and you can make conscious choices. A lot of people are not making conscious choices. They're on autopilot, and this is how media told me, this is what my parents told me, this is what my friend tells me. Learn to make conscious choices. I gotta take a sip here. Removing distractions, technology, and media. One of the biggest barriers to unlock our potential today is distractions, especially from technology, social media, streaming platform, endless notifications. They all pull your attention away from what truly matters. Try this. Dedicate a time each day to disconnect. Turn off your phone, step away from the screens, and spend time in silence or in nature. Use this time to reflect on your goals, meditate, or pursue a creative project. Notice how your focus improves, how your mind feels clearer the more you remove unnecessary distractions, the more space you create for growth and transformation. This is more, you guys got to create space for growth and transformation. Your time is valuable. And a lot of people who don't succeed in this life is they haven't learn to invest their time properly. They wasted it away, and I was guilty of this, guys. I mentioned in many of my videos where in my early 20s, I didn't amount to much. Why? I spent majority of my time playing Xbox and binge watching movies and partying, hanging out with friends, and I didn't create time for inner growth and transformation. I didn't create time, and once I learned self mastery and learning this journey, I learned okay, I'm gonna put my dreams first, and instead of wasting all these hours upon hours each week on meaningless things, I'm gonna invest my time and energy into things that are meaningful that will help me grow. Extraordinary individuals achieving the impossible. Throughout history, there are countless examples of people who have broken free from the matrix and achieved what seemed impossible. Thinker Oprah Winfrey, who overcame poverty and abuse to become a global icon. Think Nikola Tesla, whose inventions changed the world, often spoke about the power of imagine, and he often spoke about the power of imagination and intuition. These individuals did not accept their limitations imposed on them. And we see this constantly where we're like, how did this person rise to the top? I guarantee they didn't rise to the top spending 6 hours a day playing video games and Netflix. They didn't rise to the top where they spent 4 or 5 days a week partying and clubbing. You gotta learn to invest your time. Also, you have to learn what habits or behaviors that you do that are hindering your growth, or what people or environments that you hang out in that are hindering your growth and transformation. Certain people, they learn to question their reality, learn to reprogram their minds, and pursue their purpose with relentless focus. You can do the same. Guys, my big point is because I'm very spiritual. I want to help you spiritually awaken. So here's spiritual awakening and learning to tap into that divine spark that's within you. That's what governs me, guys. Is I try to tap in every day into that intuitive voice. I call it, because I'm Christian, the Holy Spirit. Maybe many people mostly call it intuition, and that guides my ship, my vessel, my beingness every day. So let's talk about spiritual awakening. The moment you realize you are more than your thoughts, more than your programming, this is what Neo experienced when he finally sees the Matrix for what it is and taps into his true power. Spiritual awakening isn't about religion. It's about connecting with the deepest part of yourself, the divine spark that exists within all of us. Meditation, mindfulness, and quiet contemplation can help you access this inner wisdom. And one of the things that helped me on my journey to tap into that is I had to do inner healing, inner shadow work, face things in my mind and thoughts and emotions I didn't want to face. And I had to slowly reprogram myself. And it takes time, but ultimately, I was like, what can I do to become the best version of myself? How can I become the best, reach my truest potential? And I still strive every day to reach my truest potential. And you can too. And a lot of it, for me in my life, was there was a lot of programs and the way I thought, my limited beliefs, or also my emotional traumas that and the hurt that I went through in my life. Uh, that I had to overcome because it was all limiting me to stay down here. And now I'm rising up here because I don't let all that stuff, all that baggage that I let within me hold me back no more. And how one of the things I did is meditation, self reflection, forgiveness, Um, forgiveness, forgiving myself, forgiving others, letting go of that hurt, not letting my trauma or my emotional abuse that I've suffered to to play victim. We see this all the time. People play the victim card. And yes, there's external forces that happen to you and that can be rough. I understand that. But a lot of times you cause that on yourself. If you chose to be in a toxic relationship for 10 years, and you're like, well, the reason I am this is because that person did this to me for, well, why didn't you didn't realize 6 months into that person was treating you badly? Or a lot of people have all these, I'm an addict because of my parents or this trauma or that trauma. In the end of the day, you still choose to the follow the substance abuse. You got to change, and I'm not trying to judge anybody. We all this is all of a journey, and my perspective can be different than your perspective. And one of my other things, I started learning to change my perspective and trying to put myself in other people's shoes. I don't hold all the answers, but what I do is I gather all the answers from multiple sources. Then I formulate an opinion. So, meditation, mindfulness, and quiet contemplation can help you access the inner wisdom. And when you do that, guys, oh my, your life will change when you're not on autopilot. You're not being steered by social norms or how people tell you how to live, and you learn to hear that inner whisper, that inner wisdom, that intuitive nudge every day. Wow. When you tune into this source, you begin to see life differently. You recognize your infinite, I can't say that, infinite potential, and start to live with a greater purpose, passion, and authenticity. The journey isn't always easy, but every step brings you closer to your truest self. And lastly, guys, my reason I talk about the Matrix is when you learn this world is governed by seven. Some they call it the seven hermetic laws, and I have a video about the seven laws of the universe. Or in my first book, Hidden Knowledge, Gained Wisdom, I talk about the seven laws. And and when you learn to like that, you are the creator of your reality, and you do have power through your attention and your actions, your emotions, and your thinking and behavior to change your reality. You begin to be like, hey, this world is a video game. And I could choose to play this game differently. Instead of always being on autopilot, instead of always working for 30 years in the same job that you're miserable at, you can be like, when you become conscious, be like, all right, I'm not happy at this job. Wait, let's just, instead, I'm going to take me, your avatar, the person you are, and be like, I've been doing this for 30 years and I'm unhappy. Okay, I'm going to switch. Well, I'm going to stay here, but I'm going to apply for 20 other jobs that I think I'll be happier. And then boom, you switch over to another job, you're making the same amount of money, but you're happier. Better hours, better pay. And before you were unawakened, you stuck there and they thought that was your only opportunity. You can create different opportunities. If you're in a loveless relationship that's miserable, but you stay with them because of material reasons, you can be like, you know what? I'm going to find a loving relationship and a supportive husband or wife. You learn to change your thinking. Change your thinking, change your life. Master your emotions, master your thinking, master your actions, change your life. So, as we wrap it up, remember you have the power to break free from the matrix. Question your reality, challenge your beliefs, remove distractions, and seek your divine spark. Neo's journey wasn't about becoming someone else, it was about realizing who he already is. And you guys, we are co creators, and we each have that divine spark, that soul within us. And when you learn to tap into your truest potential, sky's the limit for you. It is really amazing and a powerful thing when you realize that one of the only things that are holding you back in life is you. You are capable of extraordinary things. The path won't always be smooth, but every choice to step outside the matrix brings you closer to your highest potential. Thank you for joining this channel, Aslan Speaks. Hit a like, share, and subscribe. Lastly, if you made it this far, if you want to support me, and you found this topic interesting, check out my books: Hidden Knowledge, Gained Wisdom; Hidden Knowledge, Gained Insight; Hidden Knowledge, Path to the Divine; and lastly, The Alchemist, Path to Inner Transformation. Um, and if this helpful, share it with somebody. Send it to a friend. Send the link to a friend, or put it on your Facebook or whatever, and share it. And start taking the small steps to unlock your truest self. The world, yes, the world needs your light. Until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and remember, you are the one. Become the Neo of your life.